sell the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day.
Well, as you can see, we have our flight attendants, which we then call stewardesses, all dressed in their vintage uniforms, and our pilots at the air shows also dress in vintage captain uniforms. So we really look the part when we're taking this thing on the road.
Flagship Detroit today. We have flying time about 30 minutes. Today on this aircraft we have 2 window exits on your left over here and 1 window exit over here on the right. Also, we do have an emergency exit in the back, the door where you came into, and as last resort we have an exit up front in the cockpit. So thank you for joining us today, and we hope you have a pleasant flight with us. Welcome aboard.
It'll be my 3rd time aboard a DC-3, but as always I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so 2nd time on board, 1st time I guess you could say that I know what's going on, and it's a lot of fun.
It's so precious to them. It's like a baby to them. It's like their child. They take very good care of it. This is my 1st time. I'm getting ready to volunteer to work on this.
The engines on the airplane are the original Wright Cyclone engines, not the original engines, but they rebuilt modeled the same engines that they used back then. They're 9-cylinder radial engines, smoke a lot and burn a lot of gas. We burn about 100 gallons of fuel an hour. So that's why it's real important for us to be constantly raising money and asking for donations and asking people to join us as members so that we can keep this vintage airplane flying. Of the Flagship Detroit Foundation is to preserve the heritage and legacy of this historic airplane for future generations as a flying tribute to the men and women that flew it back then and that transformed the airline industry into what it is today and actually allowed those of us that are pilots and flight attendants and mechanics with the airlines to have the great careers that we have.
For 25 years. This is my anniversary. And there's the back.
This is the world's oldest flying DC-3. It's actually her birthday today. She's turned 76 today. On March the 2nd, 76 years old, the world's oldest flying DC-3.
And this is our lovely stewardess, Gladys, who takes care of everybody on the flight. She's one of 4 or 5 flight attendants that were called stewardesses back then, who are either current or retired flight attendants working for American Airlines. And Gladys is, she's a real treat to have on board, and as you can tell, she takes care of everybody. One of the greatest things about flying this airplane is that we fly low for people to be able to see the ground and to enjoy the beautiful sunsets like we had on this flight. It's just flying like it, nobody ever gets to see it anymore because 35,000 feet, the view from up there and the view from 1,000 feet is so much different. Tell for those of us that get to fly this airplane as pilots and the flight attendants that work it and our ground crew that is so fantastic keeping it flying and keeping it ready to fly. This is a passion of ours. We love this airplane and we love preserving it and keeping it looking good and showing it off to the future generations that are unfamiliar with what airline flying was like in its early days. So to us, this is a joy. Even though it's a lot of work and a lot of volunteer hours, we love doing it.
Battery switches off.
Okay.
Handles are
Electrical,
split.
radio masters, mixtures, mags, battery switch.
So what do you think, Gene? That was a pretty good flight, wasn't it?
I got lucky.
Huh? That was an awesome landing there.
Was that luck or what?
That was.
You know, there's
was
nobody has that much skill.
We really appreciate having you guys on board, and appreciated Vero Beach today for inviting us to their Aviation Day. The support we got, the radio interview from George, all that helps to support our foundation and keep this wonderful airplane flying. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you for flying with us today on our Flagship Detroit. I hope you enjoyed your flight.
My broken glasses in there.
Beautiful.
Across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree